And we can't do a lot of takes because we have a 3 o'clock.
I understand, honey.
Okay, let's go.
Could you just not put your hands in my face?
You like when I do that.
I don't like you to do it like you're smacking a gnat. It's a show. Okay, playing. Stop.
Okay, I'm serious now. Fun and games and fun.
Shoots and giggles. I didn't say the other word, but. All right, you ready?
Can we talk episode 10? Take 1.
I was 10. Mm-hmm. You know, this is a season. We're not doing.
We got 2 more episodes.
That's it. We're not going and do a whole. This is it. You know, because there's a lot that I do. It's a lot.
I do a lot too.
You walk through here. You
I
get
come
all
up with the theme and the names, and I bring it.
Stuff.
Yep. All it is.
I'm the producer.
All it is.
The editor, the scene director, the writer, the music director.
Now, come on, let's go.
Hit it again. All right, go ahead.
Can we talk? Episode 10. Take 1.
Welcome to Can We Talk? I'm Derek.
And I'm Sonia. Thank you for watching. So today's episode is I got married. I said I do. Now what? So can we talk?
Can I tell a story real quick?
Yeah.
There was a man who had a dog. And one day his neighbor came over and said, Bob, why is your dog always in the backyard moaning? Like he's making this noise, like moaning.
Make the noise.
That's the noise. And Bob says, I don't know why he's making that noise. Well, he's waking up my wife. The kids are just going crazy, looking out the window, and this dog is all night long. And so Bob says,
Don't make that noise anymore.
Okay, so Bob says, let me think about it. I know why he's making that noise. And the neighbor says, tell me why he's making that noise. And Bob says, he's sitting on a nail. He's sitting on a nail? Yeah, he's sitting on a nail. Mm-hmm. And the neighbor says, well, why don't he get off the nail? And Bob says, it don't hurt bad enough. It don't hurt bad enough. So he's going to sit on that nail and moan and moan and moan until it hurts bad enough. And then once it hurts bad enough, the dogs are going to get off the nail.
So some of y'all been sitting on a nail. Y'all got married and maybe you shouldn't have. Maybe it was premature. Maybe you weren't ready. Maybe you didn't know the person. Maybe you didn't know yourself. And now you're sitting on this nail called marriage. Moaning and complaining. And what you gonna do? So I said I do. I'm on this nail. Now what?
So if I were the dog, I would look at the nail and say, okay, it hurts. So the first thing that we want to share with you in regards to the now what, and you have a marriage where you're just moaning and complaining, or even if they're silent and you're just kind of doing your own thing, the person has to say it hurts.
Right.
I mean, you know, people are going to their graves and it hurts and they're not doing anything. So the first thing we say is just say my marriage is hurting. I'm hurting. Being able to say that to yourself first.
Yeah.
And then have a conversation with someone and say, okay, my marriage is hurting right now.
Yeah. Because I think sometimes when you're in a bad marriage and you're sitting on a nail, you want to blame the person you married. And they may have contributed to it, but it makes us vulnerable when we actually can say, I'm hurting. And a lot of times people don't want to be vulnerable. They want to stay mad. They want to get revenge. They want out, but they don't want to say it hurts. So I said I do. I'm on this nail. Now what? If your marriage isn't working and you've been hurt, take your eyes off the person. that you married that hurt you and just say, I'm hurting. That's what Derek is saying. That's step one. Step two is to identify what contribution created the hurt. What contribution did you make that created the hurt? Did you say or do something that was hurtful? Have you been unloving or unforgiving? Were you just indifferent to who you married and now you realize who you married? Were you indifferent to yourself and didn't deal with some of your own issues before you got married and realize now they're perpetuated in the marriage? Because marriage is a mirror and will make you see yourself. But so many people want to deflect from what they see in that mirror. And so they then blame it on the spouse. So what contribution did you make? That's step two. Step one is say it hurts. Step two is to look at yourself for a minute. Just look at yourself for a minute. Without talking to the person that you think is responsible, just look at yourself and ask yourself, what contribution did you make?
Let me add to the step two. When you look at yourself, take off the mask. When you look at yourself, take off the mask, because there's so many people who have this mask because they have positions at their job, or they have a position in church, or they have reached a status in their life where they don't want to say that my marriage is hurting, or they don't want to say we have a problem, or they don't want to say because it may be too late. The kids are a little bit older now, and it's like, well, if we can make it through the next 5 years, then we go our separate ways. And that's not healthy. So in addition to looking at yourself, as you look at yourself, just take off the mask and just be naked and unashamed, and just say, okay, let me take off all these things and say, okay, I need some help. So I wanted to add to what you were saying in regards to looking at yourself. Because if you look at yourself, you may see that person that everyone else sees, and you won't be able to say it hurts.
Right. And and the nakedness represents vulnerability, and it's hard not to be vulnerable when you're naked. Naked promotes vulnerability. So take off the mask, strip yourself. Strip off the makeup, strip off the gear, strip off the titles, and just look at yourself and see who you really are behind all of that.
Right. Number three.
And number three is contribute to the solution. Contribute to the solution. Get off the nail. That's the first thing. Decide, today I'm not going to moan anymore. I'm going to do something about it. Be a part of the solution. That could mean that you're going to go into a season of prayer. This weekend, I suggested a wife go into 365 days of praying for her husband, because there are some serious strongholds in that marriage. I went into 365 days of prayer over my marriage back in 1999. I did. And at the result, after I prayed for my husband over him for 365 days, I got a new man. Not that he was perfect, but I got a new husband. Prayer works. If it's if it goes according with other solutions like counseling, even better. But prayer works. I know people say, "Oh, you say that," but you're going to walk away from a marriage before you have decided to give it to God and actually be deliberate. Some of you have been on your job for more than 365 days. Most people work at the same job for 25, 35, 45 years. And I'm encouraging wives or husbands to pray for their marriage, a lifetime commitment for a year. And people tell me that that's too long. And it just doesn't make any sense to me, because at the end of the day, if you dropped dead at work, you would be replaced. But you can't be replaced in your marriage. Somebody else can marry your spouse, but it won't be you. So in my mindset, I believe that a year is not a lot to ask someone to do if they're looking for a permanent change and a permanent healing in their marriage. And I experienced it. If you want to know more about that, you can reach out to us. We also will be having a retreat on May 5th through 6th here in the Atlanta, Georgia area, so that we're going to talk more about I Said I Do Now What. That's actually the name of the retreat. We're encouraging you to attend it, especially if you find that you're stuck and you're on that nail. This is going to be a retreat that is life changing. It's going to be a game changer in your marriage. So please consider going onto our website, marriagemenders.org, and reserving your spot.
I want to add 3A as we close. 3A. Here's the A part. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. At some point, there is going to need to be a emotional maturity. I mean, we give counseling and we talk to people, and there's so many people, so many couples are doing some good things to let you know about marriage other than us. And there's so many resources out there. There's so many things on Instagram and on YouTube, and there's no excuse for you to get it. You know, and so the emotional maturity part that I'm talking about is that you can't be at a certain part of your life and still acting like you're 20 years old. You still can't be clubbing or getting a girlfriend or getting a boo and smoking weed and drinking and getting all, I mean, at some point there's a level of maturity that takes emotional maturity. You have to figure out, am I mature? Am I 40 years old? And acting like I'm 18 years old. And so, you know, that's Sonia and I, you know, we try to keep it as real as we can because we see it, we understand it. But the other part that I have to say, the 3A, and that's put your big boy pants on, put your big girl pants on, say I got a problem, say it's hurting, and say the children are being impacted by it, and look at your children now because they're going to be adult. We've been saying this over and over and over again because we see the children now, and we're seeing them in counseling because the adults were too immature to say the nail is hurting, let me get off the nail because it's impacting everything else. So that's my 3A. Is that okay?
Yeah, you know, that's a good point because wherever you go, there you are. And so escaping from yourself, you can't really do that. So it's really time, if you know that this applies to you, to just emotionally grow up and spiritually grow up. I think that that's a game changer.
Yeah. I think we lost some viewers. I ain't listening to them. Who they telling me to grow up? I'm telling you to grow up.
It's okay. We say, you know us by now. Come on, this is our 10th episode. You know we say this thing in love. We wrote a book about our immaturity. So if we could talk about our spiritual and emotional immaturity, why wouldn't we be able to admonish you?
We were very immature.
We had to grow up, y'all. We had to grow up. I had to say I made a vow to help and be the wife of this man. Let me put on my big girl pants. Let me start helping. Let me start understanding why God created wives. And I started talking to the Creator. Talk to the Creator about you and your role, and you will be able to emotionally mature and spiritually mature. You can't just keep doing what you feel like doing. It's not working. It doesn't work. It gets old. It's tiring. Grow up.
You were talking to the women, so 2 minutes later, I gotta say, since you're talking to the wives, I have to say something to the husbands. And statistically, we looked on our YouTube analytics. Most women are looking at this, and not the men. So wives, just take this part of the video, and just, I don't know how you can cut it and split it and save it and send it, but this is for the husbands. This is for the husbands. Men, if you have made a decision to check out emotionally and spiritually because it's hurting and you don't know what to do, that's not optional for you. Spiritually, we have a higher responsibility as husbands and as fathers not to check out. Because when you check out spiritually, the covering of your home is unprotected. It's like you have an alarm system that you put in and you didn't pay the bill, and the alarm company says you can still have the equipment in there. You still got your sensors on the door, your sensors on the window, the motion detector, but we're turning off the service right now until you pay it. Okay? And then the one day that somebody's going to break into your house is when the system is off.
Mercy.
And they're going to come in here into your home, and that's what Satan's doing. He's waiting for you not to pay the system.
Wow.
And so when you don't pay that system the way you're supposed, you're unprotected. And when you're unprotected, that means your wife is unprotected. You may not say, I don't care about my wife because she did this to me. Why? God is going to be the one who's going to ask you that question. Your wife, your children, I gave you them to protect them, and you made a decision to walk away for whatever reason. is your responsibility.
Yeah, that's a word. That's a word, husbands.
Okay, that was in my spirit. That was, yeah. So
yeah, we're passionate today.
We're passionate,
and we may have stepped on some toes, but it's all in love. We are not speaking of anything we did not have to do ourselves.
Yeah.
We had to look in the mirror. We had to own our stuff. We had to be part of the solution, and we had to grow up.
And if we stepped on your toes, lace those bad boys up and wear it.
You want to say something else?
I want to say something else. If we stepped on your toes, you go and lace that thing up and wear that.
Gosh.
All right, well, that's done. We're out of time.
Yes.
So thank you for watching.
So I said I do. Now what? Get off the nail. Find some solutions. Grow up. And now that you know what you're going to do with
the
it.
conference, the retreat, May the 5th and the 6th, Atlanta, Georgia. Go to our website. All the information is there.
And we hope to see you.
We hope to see you there.
Until then, take good care of yourselves. Bye.
Bye-bye.